What are my thoughts on that? The most darkest, most dismal day in the history of this nation.
I just think it's completely embarrassing. I mean, I I voted for Kamala Harris. Everybody in my family voted for Kamala Harris. I think she's just way more qualified.
Well, worrisome.
Well, I think it's a sign that there's been a major shift in our country that has obviously moved to the right. And I think we need to look at the demographics of why that shift happened.
As a queer Jew, it is terrifying on both sides. I don't think that it's unfortunate that a lot of Jews did vote for him, but only 30% or less.
Well, he really won. Okay, so Trump's been a strong leader, and he's never gives up. You see, he just never gives up.
I think he's not going to complete his promises because he's had the same business class as I've had.
I was surprised, and I was a little depressed.
Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Aaron again with American Interviews. Today we are out here at the Arcata Plaza the day after the election. Today I am out here to ask the community the question, with President Trump winning the election, what are your thoughts? We're going to find out.
I'll tell you just for fun.
Yeah, let's tell the cameras. Come on.
Well,
That's the fun part. That's the fun part.
I was just I just saw the map and it was just so red. I didn't realize how red this country was, and just the west was blue.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
My theory is that ever since the Democrats pushed Bernie Sanders out in 2016, I think most Americans aligned with that, his views. But the liberal establishment and the DNC really did not want that to happen. And then all of a sudden, this shift started happening towards the right because people were sick of the DNC kind of just installing their own candidate, despite what the populace wanted, And I feel like there was this kind of revival in politics, almost a switching of sides, almost, especially after the Cheneys endorsed Kamala Harris, the warmongers of the Iraq War, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just kind of shifting towards the middle, kind of disenfranchised a lot of
right.
A lot
politically homeless.
Yeah, and then a lot of times people in California don't really see their vote mattering or having any kind of impact because it's such a Democrat leaning state. So they don't really, and then what really matters is a lot of the Midwest. And so it comes down to the Midwest usually and how they're feeling, and they switch back and forth. And after a year of one presidency, people get sick of it and they want the other one. Whether it is in 4 years, it's probably going to be, unless he's doing great and he's changing it, doing some great stuff somehow, which is I hope. Even though I'm not, I just hope best for the country. I think in the 4 years it's going to do the same thing but backwards. It's going to reverse. It's just a reverse of polarity. Yeah. And I think you're right about the Democratic Party moving towards the center too much. Yeah. Because it disenfranchised a lot of people.
I also have this theory of progressivism. Think of it like a big wave, right? Because it has to keep going. Because progressing is going forward, right? Moving towards a certain direction. And most people, they're cool with it. And then eventually they achieve the goals that they want, right? So then they get off the wave and they're left behind the progressive wave. So in lieu of that, they become conservative.
Right. True. Yeah, I feel like they stopped. They came back. They took the tide back in and, just let it flow. And I feel like their strategy was that they were looking for more the moderates,
Yeah.
but like it just didn't work. I mean,
Right.
who knows? Maybe switching to Kamala was not. They seemed like the good choice at the time, but in the end, we all saw what happened. Maybe a different candidate. Maybe even Biden could have done better. Biden won 4 years ago. Who knows?
I've heard today some people say that this is also a win for Biden because he's the only person that ever beat Trump, and then they pushed him out again. So now he can say one of the claims, kind of like how Trump says, "Oh, the war would have never started if I was president," because that's something you can't prove. What do we have, time machines? No, you can't prove it. So Biden can also say the same thing. I would have beat Trump if you would have just let me.
Yeah, could have, would have, should have.
Could have, would have, should have.
All right, man.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you so much. All right, so with the election and President-elect Trump, we are out here today asking people's opinions on that. What are your thoughts on Trump winning?
Well, worrisome. I'm a little
What's the first worry that comes to your mind?
well, one of my first worries that comes to mind whenever it comes to Trump being our president is just the things that he has done, such as his current allegations, and a lot of the things that are the ways that he speaks upon things is a little off, especially the fact that he wants to make this country a monarchy. At least from what I've heard and what I've seen on television.
Yeah, that's mostly rhetoric from like the left, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I'm a little shocked that he is our president, but on that mark though, it makes a lot of sense that he's our president, I suppose, because of the fact that he had a attempted assassination, which obviously I would never want for a president, no matter what. Like
Nobody should wish political violence.
Yeah, of course not. That's awful. But that the way that he had presented himself on that shows that, like, I guess he has some sort of confidence that he was willing to go through that, I suppose. While I don't think that he should have been our president, while I feel like Kamala Harris was probably a better choice, it's just the history that we're living through.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on it is that I wish that he wasn't our president. I wish that Kamala Harris was our president instead, and that our country may be doomed. So yeah, I mean, this country was built upon a lot of I guess you could probably put misinformation, at least in my opinion, especially with like Native American heritage and history. It's unfortunate how that had been gone through. I don't know if I'm not too sure how many people have been educated through the many lives that have been lost, or like the things that had happened through Native Americans and all that.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to Trump though, I believe that with like what I've seen from like tax cut, like I feel like I'm not 100% sure on how I would probably go through that. Like, his ideals in my eyes are negative. I would not want that to be our president. Like, for what he is and what he may stand for is awful. Like, such as the abortion ban. Like, that's a big thing. The abortion ban, in my opinion, is probably like one of the bigger things, because why would you want a president that would advocate for that? That would want his...
Well, he isn't advocating for an abortion ban. He just overturned Roe versus Wade. Now it's in the states' hands. So I don't think they're even going to deal with abortion. It's up to the states now.
Yeah, I hope so. I sure hope so, because obviously, like, Trump can't just go out and go, I want to ban abortion throughout the entire country. The only thing that he can do is propose the idea. It's about the Senate and how they want to... I don't know if
the Senate just flipped. So the GOP won the presidency, the House, and the Senate this year. So.
Oh wow, I didn't know any of that.
Well, they haven't officially won the House, but it's looking very dicey for the Democrats.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, like I've said probably like four times already, I don't want Trump to be our president. I don't think that he would be a good fit. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir.
Of course, it was very nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. So today we're out here asking the question just after the election. What are your thoughts on Trump winning the election?
Well, I think it's a sign that there's been a major shift in our country that has obviously moved to the right. And I think we need to look at the demographics of why that shift happened.
Yeah.
Because there's a statement being made here, and the only way to really figure out what it is if we look to see who's making it.
Right.
So that's one of my thoughts. The other thought that I have is that every change in our lives comes with both a positive and a negative.
Right.
I think that, obviously Trump is a climate denier. And so I think one of the changes that needs to happen is we need to rethink our approach to dealing with climate.
What do you think about RFK being on his team? And he's himself not a climate denier. He made most of his money suing companies for polluting rivers and things like this. He's been a staunch supporter of climate. I don't know, what would you want to call it? Reform?
Well, the challenging part about RFK is that he thinks he knows better than scientists.
Okay.
And as an HSU graduate in biological sciences, I am challenged by that.
Yeah.
And the part where people think they know better than the people that have done the most work on something is one of the challenges that we are facing as a country in general on all sides of the political spectrum.
Right.
So I think RFK is going to try to implement policies based upon his thoughts about what's going on that he thinks are better than what science understands.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be one of the challenges of having him engaged on that level.
Yeah.
And, I totally understand that because he's somebody that has both great privilege and is born into a life based on trauma. So he's a very interesting person on that level.
Right, yes.
Yeah. And frankly, I doubt that he'll last very long in Trump's administration as a result.
So?
Yeah, I doubt that, yeah.
Okay.
I can't see him and his temperament surviving in that environment.
You don't think he'll be able to keep his hands off of the, let's use Trump's words, liquid gold?
I've been dealing with liquid gold issues for more than 20 years as an electric vehicle advocate because I'm very clear of all the problems that are created by it. So in dealing with that issue, what I've been confronted with is advocates that are driving to oil protests and buying gasoline on the way.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so that's a very complex issue, and it all has to do with what level of denial people are dealing with in terms of what's creating extreme weather.
Yeah.
I think at this point, most people are aware that there is extreme weather and have different views of it.
Right.
And, the most significant denial is, so what, I'm going to go on doing what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that voted for Trump that are of that level of denial. So dealing with...
Do you think it's denial or just money involvement? Do you think that they just refuse to see the facts because there's so much money involved?
The idea that if you're a hammer, everything you see is a nail.
Yes.
Is very relevant to all of what's happening, I think.
Okay.
And I think people self-justify their actions, and that one of the ways they self-justify promoting oil is based upon denial that it's a factor that's impacting our world.
Yeah.
So different levels of denial are involved. Complete denial seems to be the level that Trump is in. Mm-hmm. I think RFK, for instance, is in a different level of denial. And he's probably at the point where he accepts the fact that some level of human activity is involved.
Yeah.
But I think he's not clear as to what that level of activity is and how best to engage with it. So that's a level of denial that accepts the extreme weather, that accepts that there's some role in human activity, but that is going to be challenged to actually find a way to mitigate and or adapt to the consequences of extreme weather.
Yeah. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I can't open my eye. Not winking at you.
There you go. So, I think denial is one of the issues we need to look at and encourage people to have in-depth discussions about what is real and what is fantasies based upon emotional reactions like denial.
Yeah.
And I think there's also another factor that comes into play, which is that people are deluding themselves about certain things being true and deluding themselves about other things not being true.
Right.
So, that's a very individual thing. It's based on our feelings and our beliefs. And I know, and I respect everybody's right to have feelings and beliefs that influence them.
Right.
And the challenges that we face mean that it's important for all of us to really ask ourselves why we believe things and what really is going on and to discover the truth.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Good
It's
luck
my
to you.
pleasure. Thank you. We had one girl say, "I almost wore my hat today." Let's just put it that way. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? What you doing, man?
I'm asking people's thoughts on the Trump victory.
Fuck that.
You want to do an interview?
No.
All right. Have a good day. All right. So today we're out here asking the question right after the election. What are your thoughts on Trump winning president-elect?
As a queer Jew, it is terrifying on both sides. I don't think that it's unfortunate that a lot of Jews did vote for him, but only 30% or less. And I don't think that he's going to protect Israel, and I don't think that he's going to protect us. He's certainly not going to protect women or queer folks. So I think it's terrifying, but also maybe the institutions will take care of us. It's kind of a shit show because he's got we'll see about the House. But that's it.
Yeah,
if he has the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court,
dicey.
I don't know. I might move to Israel as a result. So
Right now, you'd move to Israel?
it's
Even
possible.
with the conflict going on?
A lot of people that are American Jews have said that they feel safer over there than they do here. And
Do you have family over there?
yes, yeah, I do. I have family and friends over there.
Yeah.
So
Are they supporters of, this is so off topic, but are they supporters of Netanyahu?
most of them no. I think that most people see him as pretty extreme.
Right.
But at the same time, this is a really difficult conflict, and
There's not,
I don't
that's
think-
an understatement.
I think most people don't understand the nuances to it, and honestly, I don't know enough about his politics to have an opinion either way. I just know that what's happening in the U.S. is so removed intellectually and historically from what is true over there that it's, I don't think that Trump winning is going to make it any better, even though a lot of people think that it will. I don't think that.
Yeah. You mentioned you were terrified. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when with the terror?
Authoritarianism, like the fact that he might, he has said, the thing is that he does, what he says and what he does don't match, and he just wakes up at 3 a.m. or doesn't sleep and just makes stuff up and then goes and makes that policy. So he said that he wants to shoot or murder his opponents, and it's like, maybe he'll do that today, and then he'll ask the Supreme Court to be like, well, it was official presidential business, so
Yeah.
like that. That's what I'm really scared of. Whether he'll, enact policies that are dangerous to us, it's more like dismantling democracy that I'm scared of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think that most of that stuff is just rhetoric?
No, it wasn't last time. So this morning, actually, the Alt National Park Service posted for the first time in 4 years, because we forgot that he started dismantling the National Park Service, and he started dismantling the United States Postal Service. and they had to go underground and have like counter movements. I think that we have amnesia about it. We don't remember how bad it was, and the reason COVID got so bad was because of him too. So it's scary. It could be anything. And right now we're kind of primed for World War III, honestly.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
So yeah, that, and if it's on his time and on his turf, I think that we might be really fucked.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinion. Thank you so much for taking a couple minutes out of your day to talk to me. So today we're out here asking people's thoughts on Trump's victory this election.
Okay. Well, he really won. Okay, so Trump's been a strong leader, and he's never gives up. You see, I mean, he just never gives up. I know there's people that have had difficult lives and stuff, or maybe in the system a lot, but Trump just never quits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he never gives up. He never says, I'm not going to stop being president,
Do you think anybody else in his position would have given up far earlier with all of the things coming his way, assassination attempts, all of the slander on the mainstream media? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think a different person, anybody else in his shoes, would have given up earlier?
I believe Trump is a good president because he cares and he's patriotic and he wants to do the job, and that's what he wants to do, and he works hard, or he tries that. But maybe everybody gets in trouble once in their life, but. And then he got shot and he still wants to be president. That's great. I mean, anybody that does that deserves to, a good chance at presidency. Kennedy, that was good. He's good too. But I was just thinking, and Trump's always been in business, always been business minded as far as I know. I mean, there's always been some kind of business involved. It wasn't always, maybe not when he was a little kid, but, And so he won. That's good.
You don't think he was selling flavored toothpicks on the playground?
I don't know. I'm not sure what I never seen any photos or footage of.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Yeah. But right, that's good. Okay, so that means he's president?
He's president-elect. So Biden is still president until January 6th.
Oh, so Biden has to step down for Trump in January 6th.
Yeah.
And Trump's got another 4 years.
Correct.
All right. Well, good. That's fine. That's good with me. I mean, that's...
Some people have said that they're scared of authoritarianism or him being a dictator. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts?
I think he has a firm, solid mind. He's pretty smart. I mean, he's pretty solid in keeping firm to what he wants. He thinks is the right thing to do. He seems like.
Yeah.
But maybe not always perfectly right. But I think I don't think he's the type of man that gives up.
Right.
And he stands up for the country. I like that. I mean, Biden, and then he tried, Trump's done a good job. I felt a little upset about one little thing, but that's in the past. And I guess combat, people, it's hard for everybody. I don't know. The world had so much law trouble that, if he can make peace with our foreign affairs and the nations that might want to cooperate with us in the next 4 years, other than what we already know, because there must be other places in the world that are to be thought of, Trump would be good. I mean, if he thinks that's what I would do if I was president. Think about how many other people don't really haven't we worked with and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for stopping and talking to me. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. I will be working very diligently to get you guys the best opinions that I can. And yeah, thank you everyone for following me and just giving me your support. I appreciate you guys. All right, so today we're out here asking the question, with the recent election results and Trump being president-elect, what are your thoughts on that?
I think he's not going to complete his promises because he's had the same business class as I've had. And it's a service job to be the president of the United States. You do a good job, but not too good a job. And you don't want to ruin your easy ticket win. So he's going to not complete any of the promises he did, just like last time, play golf, and take his last tour of presidency very lazily. And
you don't think that with no chances of re-election, this will being his last term, you don't think maybe he'll do a little bit better of a job? Any optimism there for you?
I don't think he'll do a good job at all. He's not a good employee. I'd wish he'd create more jobs, but as many people as he's fired in his life, I don't think he wants to pay that back. And he's just not smart enough. He says every other word almost, and he's just not intelligent enough. But Elon, no, I would have voted for Elon. Elon Musk, he's a smart man.
Well, Elon is on his team, so hopefully there's a little bit of optimism there.
Yes. I'm hoping Elon's gonna run. I would totally vote for Elon.
He's the only person to ever catch a 20-story rocket with tiny chopsticks.
Yes, he is. And he's, I think, too smart to run. I think he knows better, because you mess up, you get the blame.
Right.
And it's not an easy job.
Plus, he has too much going on. He's SpaceX, Tesla,
Yes.
all of his companies. He's just insanely busy. I don't think he would have the time.
Yes, he is. And I'm, as a transgender woman, I kind of don't like the way we got singled out as a target. It's not fair. A lot of us were Republicans at one time, and it never was an issue before. Now it's all using religion that everybody has to attack people that undeservedly.
Divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm. Even though it was religion that invented this process back when they would cut off our thingies to have us protect the queen. Invented by the church. So, I guess they shouldn't be circumcising people anymore. Because that's altering your body, and it's making it's doing the same thing I'm doing, but a little more detailed version. I know for a fact he's not going to finish any of his promises, because those are going to be kept on the back burner for that easy win, as long as they can do it, and that's sad. I hope our military continues not to listen to him like they did last time, because they've stopped him at every corner like they're supposed to, because that's their duty as the military, to keep the other branches in check. The president, and of course us. But he might not think that way. He thinks he's ruling over them. They are not his toys to play with, and they will tell him how it really is. And my family's been in the service, so I know. They are more in control than the president, and well-deservingly. So they will keep him in check again. And
you think so?
Mm-hmm. I think so. They kind of gave him the cold shoulder last time, brushed him off, and no true American's going to let him ruin their country for empty promises. And he will present the jar of promises just like they always do, and declare it to be empty and to be filled with currents of broken dreams by future generations.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinion. Thank you so much for giving me a couple minutes of your day and
thank you.
stopping to talk to me. You want a sticker? I give everyone a sticker that interviews.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank you.
And bless you for doing this.
Thank you. So today we're out here asking the question, with the election yesterday and Trump securing a win. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was surprised. It was unexpected. And it shows me that this country is. I was in the military in the 60s.
Thank you for your service.
Welcome. Attitudes and attitudes haven't changed for toward people like me.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think we have to be careful. We have to be aware of our surroundings and listen to people.
Do you think that that's what you referenced? Do you think that that's a systemic issue, or do you think that that's like on individual case-to-case basis?
Well, I'm 81 years old, and so I'm going to want to live as many years as I can.
Yeah, right.
And so I think it's anywhere that I am, if I'm in LA, if I'm in Eureka, if I'm here in Arcata, I'm going to watch my surroundings.
Yeah. I think that there's probably hateful people no matter where you go, right? But I would hope that the majority of people are good people.
I think it's random violence, and
Yeah.
you're in the wrong place at the right time.
Right.
And you're it. Somebody's got to be it, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
so,
true.
I believe that I voted, and so I'm going to follow the laws, and I'm going to keep up with the changes, and try to change with the times.
Yeah.
And I voted in every election since I was able to vote, and I'm happy you're out here doing these things. But all of the politicians have a job on their hands, and I don't know where this is going. At school, we had they shut down our classes at the end of the semester because of the problems, and I think more of those kind of things are going to be happening because the young people are more aware, and they're protesting, and they want to say, and I think that's good. But I was surprised last night when I got out of school.
Yeah.
I came out of school at 9 o'clock at night, and looked down and I go, oh.
Yes. It was quite surprising. What was the most surprising thing to you? Did you think that Kamala was going to win?
Yes, I thought she was going to win, but we can never tell. I didn't know. I haven't been able to predict any of the elections ever. You never know.
Yeah, it's weird how the polls are always off, and it's really hard. It's just kind of a crapshoot. It seems like.
I think it's random because society changes and ideas change, and
so quickly now. With
so
the internet.
quickly, and then too we have the digital divide. The digital, you know, like there are rural people and they're elderly, and people that are disenfranchised that don't have access to a variety of news sources.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't help very much. And so people get stuck with whatever they're being fed. Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for giving me a couple minutes of your day. I appreciate that so much. So I'm out here asking the question today, with the election yesterday and Trump securing a victory, what are your thoughts on that?
I just think it's completely embarrassing. I mean, I voted for Kamala Harris. Everybody in my family voted for Kamala Harris. I think she's just way more qualified. And the main thing that leading up to the election that I was seeing was, you know, the draft versus World War III thing. And I thought that, I really don't understand that. The kind of really recent conservative obsession with the draft and like fear of being drafted really doesn't make any sense to me, because that's never something that they've, one, worried about, and two, draft dodging is a very well-known thing. I mean, some of the most famous people of all time are draft dodgers. Muhammad Ali. Yeah, I mean, that's a great example of one. And I don't know, it just seems like such a weird thing to argue that like you would vote for Donald Trump too if you had a son that could get drafted. And it's like, I am a son who could get drafted, and I don't have a fear of getting drafted, because I would just dodge the draft. I have a much greater fear of my mom and my sister, the two people that raised me, not having their rights, getting their rights taken away, having the ability, having all of their human rights taken away. That's crazy to me that people are more worried about the draft, something that is a very small aspect of being an American citizen, instead of being worried about, their mothers and their sisters and their daughters' rights. Their
You're referencing abortion?
Yeah, abortion is the main one. I haven't. That's not the main problem that I have, but yeah.
Do you think with Trump in office and securing the Senate and most likely the House too, do you think that there is a chance of absolute abolition of abortion, or do you think that this is rhetoric? Because I know one talking point from the other side is that now that won't be a concern in this administration because the Roe v. Wade has already been overturned and it's back in the state's hands. What are your thoughts on that?
I really don't know. I really don't, like, with the Senate and the House, if they both become Republican, which the Senate is, and the House is probably going to stay Republican, I don't know if they could pass. Like, I really don't know if that would actually happen. It seems possible. I don't know if it seems likely. I find it more likely that they at least leave it in the state's hands for the time being. I think jumping on trying to fully ban abortion immediately would be kind of a misuse of the power that they just gained.
Right.
But
Well, I appreciate your thoughts, man. Thank you so much. So today we're out here asking the question, with the recent victory of Trump in the election yesterday, what are your thoughts on that?
I was surprised, and I was a little depressed.
Yeah.
And of course that took my thoughts to dark places about the possible apocalyptic post-Trump America.
Yeah.
But when you rationalize it, you think about, some people worry so much about possibilities.
Yeah.
Like just the whole what if scenario. There's 1,000, million what if scenarios. But really we have to look at what's plausible.
Right.
And once you realize plausibility over possibility, you can formulate more reasoning about what to expect.
Yeah.
And realize that it might not be great. And we might see more of a vision of what how conservatives think, and we might actually see what they may push their own conservative agendas, which will either be good or horrible. And if they're horrible, guess what? That's what America will realize.
Yeah.
Okay. So, 4 years later, we'll go see what happened. And that's why, you really have to go. Nobody, until Trump, nobody is really, none of those things have really been able to be pushed. But now that he's got a Senate and a conservative Supreme Court,
and likely the House too.
There's going to be, nobody's going to try and impeach him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's not.
And all I can say is we'll see what that brings.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a second civil war.
Yeah.
Because I'm too old for that.
Yes. And I'm too young for that.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants that. So I think, this is, we've had 248 years of this process of democracy, and it's going to play out. And I look at it like a damage control.
Yeah.
There's only so much chaos that he could potentially cause.
Yeah.
Realistically, not possibly, plausibly, in 4 years. And we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we can recover from it.
Do you have any optimism for the the next Trump presidency?
He can only serve 4 years.
Okay.
I mean, it's, I don't see. I mean, I've spent over 20 years in the U.S. military.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Retired, working military intelligence. So I don't, this nationalist view, I think is myopic in the first place, because we live in a world economy. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And there's, to be isolationists in that world economy is not going to work. And by working in that world economy, we have to also have our allies to make it work.
Yeah, that's true.
And so if he decides that he's going to pull us out of NATO, or if he decides that he's going to tell Russia, do whatever the hell you want, as he said.
Yeah.
I could see that, I can plausibly see that going bad for Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I can plausibly see that going bad for Gaza.
You don't think his rhetoric is somewhat true, and he'll have the war ended when he takes the presidency?
Well, here's the idea. His rhetoric is so vague.
Yeah.
That, he could have the war ended by saying to Putin, go ahead, do what the hell you want.
Yeah, like keep Crimea or something. Yeah.
Take it all. Who cares? Take Poland. I don't care. Because we're America first. We don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And he could tell Netanyahu, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
So and yes, that will end the war. But it's not going to end the suffering.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna bring any freedom to or justice to anybody.
Yeah.
By doing that. It's very important, I think, it's very important that we maintain our promises to allies.
Yeah.
Because it creates stability around the world.
Yeah.
And stability in markets.
Mm-hmm.
And my opinion of Trump personally is it's just an agent of chaos.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm welcome to it. But, people, have their own ideas about conservatism or liberalism. But, I don't see how all that is going to make anything better.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your day. Oh, yeah. You want to take one with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I seen you one when you did over there. Who goes to the university right here, bro?
Yeah, that was about a year ago.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was a pretty chaotic day.
It was, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I think if any of the protesters took a split second to think about my question, they probably would have agreed with me.
Honestly, yeah. Let me tell you, I think it's just their emotion.
Yeah, it was just super high emotions and any kind of I think this is what set them off.
Yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
that's the problem.
That was my point too in the video. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate it.
You want to stick it?
Yeah.
All right, so today I'm out here asking the question, with the recent Trump victory, what are your thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts on that? The most darkest, most dismal day in the history of this nation.
You think so?
Yeah.
What brought you to this conclusion?
Pardon me?
What brought you to this conclusion?
I agree.
Life of 81 years of studying history and politics and being involved in elections for my entire life, following politics, following history. We just elected a fascist, and we are doomed for history of no more democracy We have a government of a jerk as a president. We have a House run by the Republicans. We have a Senate run by the Republicans. And we have a Supreme Court run by the fascists. And there's no chance for this to change for 2 to 3 generations.
Yeah.
And most likely it will be entrenched forever.
You think so?
I believe so.
You don't think eventually it'll swing back the other way?
I don't think so. I think by the time these guys are finished, if Trump has his way and appoints his son Barron as the next leader of the nation, which is more likely than another election,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court is in his pocket. Nothing's going to change anything for decades.
Do you think that this is the end of our nation, perhaps?
Yes, I do. I think obviously we are so split and divided that a majority of people voted for a guy who's a felon, who's never done an honest thing in his life, and has proven before how bad he could be, and now he has no control against anything he says because it's all his henchmen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think maybe that the
For
main...
my grandchildren, for people your age, from people from teenage, I mean, life is going to, he said it, life is going to get rough for some of you. Who knows how bad it's going to be?
Yeah. You mentioned division. Do you think that maybe the mainstream media is the main culprit in the division that we see today? Or do you think that this is just
no, I think
the
that
road that we've been on?
No, I think that corporate interests are the ruling aristocracy of this country.
Okay.
I just wish Trump had more education.
Corporate media has done nothing the whole campaign to actually focus on how sick and crazy this guy who's now the chief executive. I mean, they treat him like, for 10 years they've treated him with kid gloves, like they're afraid of him. I mean, it's like, who knows what he's going to do to people like Mr. Wright or Kamala Harris or any of these people that he has hatred for now. Is this possible? I mean, you know.
Yeah. Do you think maybe on the flip side that...
World War II got rid of Hitler. I don't think there's anything on the horizon that will change the course of history, that we're headed down a black, bleak road.
All right. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for stopping to talk to me.
Thank you for being there.
Yeah. I appreciate your opinion.
Don't forget to check out our affiliate link with Ground News. We are now a proud affiliate with Ground News. So go on over to check.ground.news/americaninterviews for 15% off any subscription model. Thank you very much. See you next time.